It's the Sittin' Sports Side Podcast
Can't wait.
with Mike James.
Come on, man.
And Eric Hanman.
I have dedicated my life to this team, okay?
On 1045theteam.com.
Go DJ, that my DJ.
Yeah, boy!
I'm so pumped to be giving you a special look into our interviews from the Hall of Fame
We're
Classic.
having way too much fun with this, by the way, but
Dude,
it's okay.
But it was a great, fun weekend.
And we're going to make Mets fans happy right now.
Yeah, Mets fans, you know, there were a lot of Yankees there.
Yeah.
You know, Wade Boggs, obviously a former Yankee. Goose Gossage, former Yankee.
So,
you know who also was a former Yankee? Todd Zeile. Very briefly, though. More well-known, and he was repping the New York Mets at the Hall of Fame Classic. And he had some good stories about his time in New York and his favorite
was a cool
moment.
interview.
Yeah, I mean, Todd Zeile was a very nice guy, and guess what? And we'll talk a little bit more about his performance in the actual Hall of Fame game a little bit after we share the interview with him.
Do we have some words from Todd Zeile?
What?
Do we have some words from Todd
we do
Zeile?
have some words from Todd Zeile, but I was saying he played catcher in the Hall of Fame game.
He did.
And he played a lot of his career. He came up as a catcher, but he played more of his career as a third or first baseman.
Can I just say I was surprised he didn't have the knee savers on there. I was at his age I would have had the knee savers on.
Very, very impressive from Todd Zeile. So, without further ado,
Here's
Mr. Todd Zeile. Oh, you got it?
Sorry.
You want this one? All right. Here's Todd Zeile.
1045 The Team in Albany. We're here with Todd Zeile from the New York Mets. Todd, how are you feeling about today?
A little nervous. A little more nervous than I was any game that I played because I may blow up right here on the field. So, it's been a while since I've been out on the field, but I'm excited to be here. It's great to see these guys and a lot of guys that I haven't seen in a while and support the Hall of Fame, which I've had the pleasure to play in like 5 different Hall of Fame games. So I've had a chance to be here a lot, and I like it.
Well, you're home for New York sports, but in particular the New York Yankees. Do you want to share your memories possibly? I don't know, it was a loss, but that 2000 World Series?
Yeah, I know. The 2000 year I was with the Mets, and look, we had a great year. We got beat by a great team in the World Series. It was an amazing experience, and, it lit up New York, and had an opportunity to play with the Yankees later, but really my more family atmosphere for me at the Mets, and I'm still really close to the guys there in New York City.
Is there any one particular highlight of your career that you're most fond of?
I don't know. I think maybe if I narrowed it down to things that are baseball related, but not, that sort of transcend the game a little bit. The game following 9/11, I think, was as significant as anything. Mike hit the big home run against the Braves, and I had a good game that day, and it was very emotional. We were wearing the firefighters' hats, and that whole experience in that time of my life in New York was amazing.
Thank you, Todd.
All right, thank you very much.
So, yeah, great interview there with Todd Zeile, and like I mentioned before, he played catcher in the game. He sounded a little nervous before the game, but he ended up going 2 for 4 with an RBI double with for the winning Wizards, which is Ozzie Smith's team. And
ironically.
That was why they did it, obviously.
Nuxies.
The Nuxies for
Phil Nuxie Necro.
Right, so it was an obvious. But, yeah, Todd Zeile, I mean, I love that answer about one of his favorite moments. It wasn't even necessarily about how he played. He mentioned that he did play well in that game after 9/11, but to hear that as being one of the big stronger moments, it makes sense, and it's great to hear it from a perspective that's not Mike Piazza, because I feel like that's all I've really heard of, other than the pitcher that gave it up.
I'll tell you one thing, though, touch on 9/11. I'll never forget that day. I mean, I was 10, but I was in middle school, and I just remember, they didn't tell us anything till towards the end of the day, and we're all like, what? It was just weird. Country hasn't been the same since.
Back to a positive note on the baseball and Todd Zeile, it was, when you get a home run like Mike Piazza did in the moment right after that, it really brought a great feeling, and I really I've always loved that moment. And then another moment, special moment, as well as the one where George W. Bush threw a strike.
Yep, I was going to say that Bush in Yankee Stadium.
So I mean, there's a lot of great stuff, and you can even mention when Osama bin Laden was killed, right? In Philadelphia, just a chance of USA on Sunday Night Baseball. I mean, so you get a lot of great moments sometimes at these
There's
ballparks.
that, and another thing too, while we're touching on moments like this, let's talk about after the Boston Marathon bombing. I mean, just with Ortiz at Fenway and the way, you look at the Yankees-Red Sox rivalry. Obviously, we hate each other. It's a sport. But when stuff like that happens, everybody comes together. I mean, I remember, Yankee Stadium being lit up and saying, we support Boston. That's just the way it is. You put everything aside. You put the hatred aside for stuff like that. That doesn't matter after that in situations like that.
Well said. Well said. And we got to thank Todd Zeile, among others. And if you missed some other interviews that we've had with the likes of Wade Boggs, Juan Pierre, Goose Gossage, and Aaron Harang, you can find those on youtube.com/team1045. So from Mike, James, I'm Eric Hammond. Thank you for listening to this special edition of the Sit and Sports Side podcast.
Thank you.